With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump has nominated a former deputy surgeon general to be the next director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The top post at the CDC has been a revolving door the past few months as Donald Trump's first nominee withdrew and the second was fired after less than a month on the job. Erica Schwartz is the president's latest nominee. In addition to being a former deputy surgeon general, Schwartz also served as chief medical officer for the U.S. Coast Guard. She holds both medical and law degrees. The Atlanta-based CDC is charged with protecting Americans from preventable health threats. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Near Washington, a murder-suicide involving a former Virginia lieutenant governor and his wife.
Virginia police say that Justin Fairfax, the state's former lieutenant governor, has shot and killed his wife and then fatally shot himself. Fairfax County police say both were found dead at their Northern Virginia home after the couple's teenage son called 911 shortly after midnight. Officers responded to the home in January after Justin Fairfax alleged that his wife had assaulted him. Police say that at some point during the couple's divorce proceedings that Mrs. Fairfax had set up video cameras inside the home. After reviewing those cameras, police concluded that that alleged assault never occurred. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
The Artemis II astronauts who ignited a lunar renaissance are giving high marks to their moon ship for its performance during re-entry, especially the heat shield. They held their first news conference Thursday since returning to Earth. On Wall Street, the Dow up by 115 points, the Nasdaq rose 86, the S&P 500 advanced 18. This is SRN News. Is artificial intelligence good or bad? Correspondent Michael Harrington reports.
The answer appears to be both, at least according to Christians. A new poll from the Barna Group finds that 66% of believers think that AI is improving their lives, but 57% also think the new technology is a threat. It might seem counterintuitive, but the Barna survey indicates that young people, the ones most likely to embrace AI, are also the ones most likely to believe that it's dangerous. Michael Harrington reporting.
Holocaust survivors from around the world joined thousands of people this week in the March of the Living. It's an annual event held at the site of the Auschwitz concentration camp in memory of the 6 million Jews killed by Nazi Germany during World War II. Some of the 50 survivors taking part came from Israel despite logistical difficulties caused by airspace restrictions associated with the Iran war. This is SRN News. 6 decades after inventing sports drinks, Gatorade is going in a surprising new direction.
It is no longer focusing on athletes, choosing instead to broaden its reach by catering to non-athletes looking for ways to hydrate. New packaging highlights the specific ways Gatorade's various drinks and powders work and the research behind them. Rivals like Powerade and LMNT have also recently introduced products designed for non-athletes. Sales of sports drink mixes like powders rose nearly 20% for the year ending March 22nd. Rich Thomason reporting.
Taiwan's chip maker TSMC has reported a 58% jump in profit for the January-March quarter, thanks to strong demand driven by the artificial intelligence boom, even as the Iran war drives up costs. More details at srnnews.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters.
It's the Joe Messina Show.
We're back at it again. Joe Messina, your host. Always a pleasure to have you with me. Right? 855-REAL-JOE. 855-732-5563. I really do appreciate the time you're spending with us here on the air and in the chat room and texting and tweeting and just engaging in the conversation. That's what you need to do. You really need to just engage in the conversation. So you do have a clue as to what's happening. So you do know what's going on out there. If you can. If you would. If you will. I mean, seriously. I'm always slow in the uptake here, but I really do. Listen, Brad Dacus joins us from Pacific Justice Institute after the break. I always enjoy having him on with me too. He's got a lot to say about what's going on in the law, what's going on in the courts. I got to see what's going to come out. We're going to see what's going to come out of a lot of this stuff. The court has heard a lot of major cases, and I would love to know. I'm going to love to know exactly what's going on, right, at the court system, what he expects to come out of this. Because they've heard a lot of very important cases. So, again, I say to you, 855-732-5563. You know, you're having more and more of these Congress seats going to hardcore progressive Democrats. Now, you see what's happened here in California with the progressive Democrats, right? I mean, come on, seriously. Why do you keep... I don't understand what you guys see in this. You don't like the way Trump talks? You don't like what he's doing in Iran? You don't like what he ran on all this stuff. You cheered on Obama. You cheered on... What did you think Obama, Clinton, George W., what did you think they were going to do when they said they were going to stop Iran from getting a nuclear bomb? You think they were just going to keep giving them money? No, come on, seriously. I would love to know. 855 Real Joe, 855-732-5563. Just again, and you see the stuff that's going on all around us. You saw in New York, I don't think it was New York City, they refused to hand over an illegal alien who's already been accused of many crimes. Right? He was an arsonist who killed 4. And they just told ICE and DHS they wouldn't comply. So you know what I'd like to see happen? Is some of these people charged as accessories. Really? No, seriously. I mean, you look at this stuff. And you have to stop and say to yourself, okay, this is what they want, but why drag everybody else down? You're hurting everybody. You know why? Because the people that have a different viewpoint, Republicans in most cases, conservatives, they need them to pay the tax money because they got jobs. They're doing things that are making money. They don't care. They just don't care. So we'll talk a little bit about SCOTUS, what's going on there as well, because there's a lot of cases, like I said earlier. We've got Brad Dacus coming on. He's the founder of Pacific Justice Institute. And the big thing behind PJI, frankly and honestly, is that they take on these cases for free. Because it costs a lot to take a case all the way to the Supreme Court, which is where they end most of the time. You know? Got it. I'm loving it. I'm loving all the cases I see popping up in front of SCOTUS. And finally, maybe some of these judges will be pushed aside. Finally. Right? The House voted, this is just disgusting. I don't even know where to go with this, right? And it never stops. The House voted 224 to 204 to extend temporary protection status to 350,000 Haitians for 3 more years. 10 Republicans voted with the Dems for this one. It's just amazing. Why? What's the upside to this? The Democrats broke out in applause after the measure passed. But the Democrats on what's called a discharge petition to force a full floor House vote. Kevin Kiley, who just flipped from a Republican to an independent, also voted with the Democrats. Whoa. So again, why? What are they doing up there? I'd like to know what the reasoning was behind it. So the measure was introduced by a radical Democrat, Ariana Presley. Extending the TPS for Haiti is not only the moral and humanitarian thing to do, but it's also good policy. It's good for families. It's good for our economy. It's good. Stop it. Just stop it. All right. Joe Messina, your host. Be back in a few minutes. Don't go far.
Omaha Steaks is rewriting the book on burgers with an all-new handmade texture for the juiciest home-style burgers you've ever tasted. Their pure ground burgers are made from single cuts of real aged Omaha steaks. These are truly steaks on a bun. Filet mignon, ribeye, New York strip, sirloin, and even brisket burgers. Now is the time to experience the exclusive Burger Perfection Flight for just $79.99. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code TREAT at checkout to get an extra $20 off your order, plus free shipping. You'll get 4 of each pure ground burger, so you can sample all the steak on a bun greatness. These burgers are crafted for a juicier, more tender experience, making your mouth water with every single bite. Don't wait. Go to omahasteaks.com, use promo code TREAT at checkout, and get $20 off the Burger Perfection Flight and discover your new burger obsession. Minimum order may be required.
You've been working hard, doing the right thing, and paying your taxes, and putting your hard-earned money in the Medicare piggy bank all your life. And now it's time to break the piggy bank and get something back. Medicare. If you didn't know it, Medicare is health insurance for people over 65, and you've paid for it with your tax dollars. Medicare plans now have more benefits than ever. That's good news, especially if you're like me and looking forward to paying as little as possible for good health insurance. Call and find out what Medicare plan is best for you. Save your time. It's valuable. We've already done the research for you. And in one quick phone call, you can learn how to get the best Medicare plan designed exactly for you. Hey, it's one of the most important decisions in your life. Let us help you through it. Here's our number. Call 65 Plus Medicare now. 800-778-8214. 800-778-8214. That's 800-778-8214. Can your IRA stand up to the next financial crisis that our top economists are saying is at our doorsteps? By allocating a percentage of your IRA into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns by putting your IRA back on the gold standard. Find out how to safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Call now for your free gold and silver report. Protect your IRA today with one simple phone call and learn how to qualify for up to $10,000 in free silver. Call Genesis Gold Group, empowering faith-driven stewardship. 800-504-1123. 800-504-1123. 800-504-1123. That's 800-504-1123.
We're definitely going to be late to the concert. I feel like we should be there by now.
I'm just taking a little detour. I gotta fill up my gas tank, and I know this place a couple towns over where the gas is cheaper.
Are you serious? We're going to be late for the concert because you're driving out of the way for cheaper gas? Just use Upside.
What's Upside?
Upside is the free cashback app that gets you real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait, I can get cash back just for buying the gas I need anyway?
Yes, I use it all the time, and I've made around $200. Now pull over so you can download the Upside app before we miss the concert.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PHIL25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code PHIL25.
Attention timeshare owners. Tired of the financial stress? Were you misled by the salesperson? Don't or can't use your timeshare anymore? If any of these apply to you, then you may qualify for timeshare cancellation and get the relief you need now. Timeshare Defense Attorneys is the #1 affordable fixed fee legal solution in the country with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. That's certainly better than my grades. They even offer a 100% client satisfaction guarantee. Let one of their experienced lawyers evaluate your case and explain the process. If they take you as a client, they'll work on your case until it's resolved in your favor, guaranteed. Expect great service and a close working relationship with your lawyer, keeping you informed every step of the way, protecting your rights, interests, and even your credit. It's that simple. Even a kid like me can understand it. The consultation is free. Call today.
800-875-1853. 800-875-1853. That's 800-875-1853.
I married your mother because I wanted children. Imagine my disappointment when you arrived.
We're back at it. Joe Mazzini, your host. Always a pleasure to have you with me. 855-REAL-JOE. 855-732-5563. Get involved. Get engaged. Be part of the solution. You really do need to be part of the solution. I appreciate the time that you're spending with us here. Like I said, on the air, in the chat room, texting, tweeting, and truly just being part of the conversation. A lot going on in the news. A lot going on with your legal rights. And like I always say, we need to make sure we have the right people so that we know, usins know, what you're up against, what you need to fight. And that's why I bring in the experts. Like I said before, I am not the expert. I have a microphone. I enjoy myself. But, man, I bring on the people that actually have a clue. So I bring in Brad Dacus. Brad Dacus is the founder of Pacific Justice Institute. He briefly joined us last night because I hit the wrong key. And always appreciate him being ready to jump on when he needs to be. How you doing?
Yeah, it's great to be on the program. That's right. I didn't have it on the schedule, but I was ready to play ball.
You were ready, and I'm sure you looked at your wife and went, huh? Why is he calling me? So anyhow. Oh, Brad, no, I do appreciate the time that you're spending with me here. And listen, I know I got an email. I didn't read through the whole thing from PJI, something about something left over from the Biden administration of them going after you. Do you remember what that was about? Not you.
Oh, yes, I do.
All right. Talk about it.
Yes. Well, as it turns out, the Trump administration's Department of Justice put out a nearly 900-page report analyzing the extent to which Biden used the Department of Justice to weaponize and to specifically use it to go after Christians, conservatives, and specifically on page 770, it talked about how it would target jurors in the jury pool and to eliminate all those who said that they had heard of Pacific Justice Institute before. He would have those removed from the jury pool. And it's sort of an indirect way of engaging in religious discrimination. They can't say any Christians here, any people who believe in the Bible. They don't do that. But they try to do an end run to get Christians booted off. And their easy way to do it was to ask them, have any of you heard of Pacific Justice Institute? And when they raised their hand, they were immediately removed from the jury and the jury pool. So that was one of their tactics. And,
wow.
I find it very concerning because, that means we really don't have, a fair jury when you have all of those who are, strong in their Christian faith being systematically removed through those kinds of tactics. And we called them out on it in our press release. And we're just very grateful that we have a different Department of Justice, a different administration that's not as corrupt not as bigoted, not bigoted, towards people of faith, and that we can have a fair courts, and that's why we're winning over and over again since Trump was sworn into office.
Did you have a hint or a thought, or had you heard about this practice going on back then?
No, I hadn't heard of it until this report. So it was, like I say, it was very eye-opening, and we're looking at it from a number of angles right now. That's all I can say. We want to make sure this doesn't happen in the future.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, it must be a tough place to be, right? And again, you really don't know what happens until you're actually in front of that. You got that jury, you're in front of a judge, and trying to push a trial, and then figure it out as time goes on. Like I said, got to be a really bad place to be. So, anyhow, all right. Hey, you know who we're hearing a lot from lately is Clarence Thomas. And, he's talking a lot about not just what's going on with the Supreme Court, but what's going on around the Supreme Court. And he said that he was, talking about the real problem that we're going to have is the intolerance among young people or younger generations that are affecting the courts or infecting the courts across the country right now, because they're basing their arguments, they're basing the things that are going on around them on ideological differences and not legal differences, and even alluded to the fact that there are some things that the law schools aren't even teaching anymore when it comes to true law, the Constitution, the way it's written. Do you see that happening when you're out there?
Oh yes, and it's really dangerous because a lot of law professors are progressive, if you will, and I don't like that word because it's almost a positive sounding word. You're progressive, you're making progress. But it's quite the opposite. They're destructive in terms of their desire to just chop and dice the Constitution, not respect the original intent or the construction of the Constitution, and instead just go willy-nilly on whatever they feel and whatever they want society to be and however they want to recreate rights. That's what progressives do. It started with Woodrow Wilson as far as the presidents go, and it's carried forward. Most presidents have been varying degrees of quote progressive, letting government expand, bureaucracy expand, diluting our understanding of original intent to create new rights, quote unquote, at the expense of others. So President Trump is a breath of fresh air in a major way. Reagan did some mitigating, but Trump is really, he gets it, and the judges he appoints understand it. And we're very pleased that this information is getting out there so people can understand what's at stake when they decide to elect a politician that's progressive, that is not fully respecting the Constitution and instead putting an agenda over our fundamental rights protected under the Constitution.
Yeah, what's funny is he talks about the civility in his, he did a 250th anniversary speech of the Declaration at the college. And he was talking about the differences, not just in the justices, but the way they handle themselves now, as opposed to what it was like when he first got on there. And
yeah, and specifically Sotomayor and Justice Jackson Breyer. I mean, they have both been just unbelievable in a negative way. They've been infamous in their crude behavior, their unprofessionalism, attacking other justices in public. That happened, it's happened briefly with Sotomayor attacking another justice on the Supreme Court. It's very disturbing. Before they had a collegial, respectful.
All right. Hey, put it on pause. We gotta go for a quick break. Be back in a minute. Don't go far. A lot more coming up on the Joe Messina Show.
Attention homeowners. It's not if something's going to break, it's when. That's home ownership. If your dryer, your refrigerator, or your AC and heating breaks, that's an expensive call. And who do you call? Make it easy on yourself and call Choice Home Warranty. We've already done the research and have access to 25,000 technicians that can be at your home quickly. We've covered close to 2 million homes in the United States. There's a good chance your neighbors work with us. Call us right now before the next breakdown. We'll tell you everything that's covered in your home and give you the first month free with our ironclad 30-day money-back guarantee. Call now and learn how to get your free month.
800-378-2250. 800-378-2250. 800-378-2250. That's 800-378-2250.
Limitations and exclusions apply. First month free with purchase of single plan. Visit choicehomewarranty.com for more details.
Life is full of surprises. Some wonderful, some not so much. But here's one thing you can control. Making sure your loved ones are protected if the unexpected happens. At easyplans.com, we make getting life insurance, well, easy. In just a few minutes, you can apply online and buy direct. No awkward phone calls, no confusing jargon, and no agent will contact you unless you request help. Just clear, affordable coverage designed to fit your life and your budget. Fast approval, flexible plans, and unlike other online insurance sites, Easy Plans won't sell your information to others. So no endless phone calls and text messages. Whether you're just starting a family, buying a home, or thinking ahead, EasyPlans.com has you covered. EasyPlans.com. We make buying life insurance, well, easy.
America's News Update, I'm John Schaefer. The government shut down.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump has nominated a former Deputy Surgeon General to be the next director of the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. White House correspondent Greg Clugston reports.
The top post at the CDC has been a revolving door the past few months as Donald Trump's first nominee withdrew and the second was fired after less than a month on the job. Erica Schwartz is the president's latest nominee. In addition to being a former Deputy Surgeon General, Schwartz also served as Chief Medical Officer for the U.S. Coast Guard. She holds both medical and law degrees. The Atlanta-based CDC is charged with protecting Americans from preventable health threats. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Near Washington, a murder-suicide involving a former Virginia lieutenant governor and his wife.
Virginia police say that Justin Fairfax, the state's former lieutenant governor, has shot and killed his wife and then fatally shot himself. Fairfax County police say both were found dead at their Northern Virginia home after the couple's teenage son called 911 shortly after midnight. Officers responded to the home in January after Justin Fairfax alleged that his wife had assaulted him. Police say that at some point during the couple's divorce proceedings that Mrs. Fairfax had set up video cameras.
Every time you buy gas, use promo code PHIL25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank, PayPal, or as a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PHIL25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus. That's code PHIL25.
Austin Powers always defeats me because he has Joe. Joe? Joe. The life force, the essence, the right stuff. What the French call a certain, I don't know what.
We are back at it again. Joe Messina, your host. Always a pleasure to have you with me. 855-REAL-JOE, 855-732-5563. Do appreciate the time you're spending with us here on the air, in the chat room, texting, tweeting, and truly just being part of the conversation. And it works out well when you're part of the conversation, not just in. Brad Dacus joins us. He is the founder of Pacific Justice Institute. Always appreciate his time with us. And Brad, tell people how they can, tell people about PJI and how they can help.
Yeah. We at Pacific Justice Institute, we're a very unique legal nonprofit organization, and we defend religious freedom, parents' rights against the government, sanctity of human life. But we're very unique in that we don't just cherry pick a few high-profile cases. Our goal is to make sure everyone gets help. So we're also unique in that we don't just have like one office in Phoenix or one office in Dallas, but we have 37 offices coast to coast, defending people without charge with the goal of trying to make sure no one's left on the side of the road. It's very unique, and we have over 130 cases right now in active litigation. We have 2 cases that have recently been appealed or petition for cert filed with the United States Supreme Court. We have a 3rd one that is going to be on its way in the near future, and we're just seeing incredible success. The clear majority of our cases we are winning, and we're winning very strongly. And I've never been more optimistic in terms of the progress that we're able to make in the courts. And I'm very grateful to President Trump for his court appointments to help further that and make that possible.
Yeah, no, I listen, you guys do a fantastic job. You know, I believe that, or I wouldn't have you on this show. And many people apparently has hopped up on your website and grabbed some of the forms and that kind of thing. So I'm glad you're there. And I'm also appreciating, I am getting calls from other trustees up and down the state on some of the stuff that we're doing, because you're telling them what we're doing at my district or how we're getting things done as well. So that's nice. Appreciate that. So.
Yeah. Well, you've been a model for school board members, and I'm very pleased to see the positive impact you've been making, and with really solid policies that many Californians have been waiting for quite some time.
And you know, it's really funny. It's the more you go down this road. When we first started putting some of these policies in places, the left were the ones coming into the boardroom and screaming and making all kinds of noise. But the beauty is that as time goes on, they realize you're not going to give up, and they realize that they can't fight it. You know, they always threaten you. They always show up, and you're going to laugh at me, but they'll show up and say, you know, you're going to cost this district a lot of money. And I just go, no, I'm not. I know a law firm that'll take this on because it'll go statewide if they win. And they know the teachers union knows exactly what I'm saying when I say that you know, we will be the test case and have this thing go statewide. Is that really what you want? You know?
Yeah.
And so they back
away.
Sure
they should back away because they know they're not going to win. And if they lose, then it just spreads the precedent and the confidence of other school boards to do the same and make right policies and decisions.
All right. So, I mean, these aren't legal issues, but there are opinions. I want to hear what you have to say about it. So Trump did an interview with Maria Bartiromo over there at Fox Business, and he was talking about the possibility, almost as if he was hoping that Alito and Thomas would go ahead and retire before the midterms. And, you know, because he wants to replace them with the same or even maybe more conservative justices. I'm concerned that with the way the Republicans are acting and what have you, that may not happen because they only need 51 votes now. They no longer need 60, correct?
Yeah, and actually, just 51 votes, and one of those votes can be the vice president as the tiebreaker.
Yep. So he said he would love to be able to put 2 people on there, younger people, and so then you have another 40 years of conservative thinking.
Yeah, and I agree with President Trump on that. And our 2 best justices that respect the Constitution in the strongest way are the oldest on the court right now. Thomas, I believe he's 77. Alito is 75. The average Supreme Court justice is on the court to about the age of 80. So I've been hoping that Sotomayor would, for different reasons, might not be on the court, but she's still on. And but nonetheless, we do have we can't control that, but I do believe that I think there's a good chance that one of the 2, Alito or Thomas, probably more likely Alito, will step down this year. In fact, the odds makers say that it's like a 16 or 19% chance he'll step down at the end of this term, in June.
Right.
They say, however, the odds makers say that it's 55 to 60% probability that he will step down by the end of this year, which what he could do is if the Republicans lose the Senate seat, then he could step down the day after the election. Trump could offer his appointment. This is what happened with Amy Coney Barrett. She was approved. It could be done in a matter of just a few weeks. And I think that's what Alito would do if he saw the writing on the wall and if the election did not turn out as many people hope, which is that the Republicans will keep a majority, if not a slim majority.
Right. Yeah. So, and again, who would you have in mind? You must have some people in mind that you think would be as strong as either one of them, actually.
Yeah. Well, number one on the list of those that are highly rated, and I respect the people on the list, is Judge James Ho, H-O. He's from the Fifth Circuit. He's about 55 years old. It'd be nice if he was 45, but still 55. That's going to give him another, say 25 years. Looks a little on the heavy side, I'm just saying. I'd almost want to have him sign a document pledging to do exercise at least 3 times a week. But at any rate, he would be an excellent choice. And then, of course, you also have Senators, Cruz, and also Senator Mike Lee. He's from Utah. Senator Cruz is from Texas. They're possibles, but I don't think they're probables. Unless Trump thinks there's going to be difficulty getting majority on the Supreme Court for some reason, they're more likely to approve their own colleagues than disapprove, than not approve them. But so we'll see what happens. But the good news is there are a number of excellent, well-proven, tried and true, solid conservative justices that respect the Constitution, original intent, who do not believe in progressivism. A lot of written justices, very firm in their opinions. Judge James Ho, for example, he's very proven in his writings. So we've got some great candidates, and so I'm really confident we can get it filled with no problem.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I can see Ted Cruz. Mike Lee better than I do, probably even following him longer. But I can see Cruz as a staunch constitutionalist, and he's pretty young himself, is he not?
Yeah, he's about 55.
Okay.
And Lee, I think, is about the same age, and it's all relative. Well, you think old and young. I mean, young to me in a way. So, but also someone asked Cruz, would you consider it if you were offered the Supreme Court? And reportedly, he said, no, I would not take that. I would not sit on the Supreme Court. And if he said that, that would only mean one thing, and that is he still has aspirations for the Oval Office someday. He may, in the back of his mind, think that he might be elected president of the United States. I don't think that is a viable possibility, especially considering some of the other strong contenders that we have down the road with Rubio and DeSantis and, of course, J.D. Vance. But we'll see. That may change. His attitude may change, and he may decide he wants to be on the Supreme Court.
So, there's a lot coming up right now, and a lot of people are speculating the direction it's going to go in, as far as the Voter Rights Act, or the voting. Yeah, the Voter Rights Act, mail-in voting. There's some leaking coming out from the Supreme Court that they're gonna strike down mail-in ballots. And we'll see actually where that goes. But man, there's going to be a fight there. And one writer put it perfectly when he said, "Look, this is up to the Congress to take care of. If they want to change it, they need to actually change it with a law." So we're going to go for a break, though. We'll be back in a few minutes. Don't go far.
picked up a towel set because it felt really soft in the store, but then when you go to use it, it's not very absorbent? That's why MyPillow has developed the MyPillow towels. Towels that work. The 6-piece towel set includes 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. And right now you can receive a 6-piece set for only $39.98 with promo code USA. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, and enter promo code USA, or call 800-951-8175. That's MyPillow.com, promo code USA.
Take as little as 3 minutes to see if you could save on motorcycle insurance with Progressive. Come on, you've spent more time than that trying to name your bike.
How about the Crusher? I guess it's not really crushing anything. The Silver Bolt? No. Oh, what about Pepper? Mysterious. Is it a pet or a condiment? Surprise! It's a motorcycle. No, that's stupid.
Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Do you have a story to tell? Bring your story to life with audiobooks. Great stories deserve great storytelling. Audiobook Network provides professional voice actors and full production services for every author's manuscript. From narration, production, and editing to distribution, promotion, and sales, Audiobook Network handles everything. If you have a print book, ebook, or even a manuscript, call Audiobook Network now and get our free audiobook guide. 800-734-1229, 800-734-1229.
I'd like to introduce you to our new sponsor, Get the Tea. Get the Tea carries all natural, non-GMO organic teas and supplements made in the USA. Get the Tea's ingredients are the purest available. My favorite is Life Change Tea. Life Change Tea is a gentle daily cleanse containing 12 herbs that when combined really keep things moving. I drink it every day and my energy has never been better. I'm feeling great. Life Change Tea comes in 3 delicious flavors, natural, peppermint, and pomegranate. It's an easy and delicious way to keep your digestion on track. And for those on the go, try D365. D365 is Life Change Tea in a capsule. Drink the tea or take D365 capsules and keep your digestion running smoothly. Go to getthetea.com and enter discount code USA to get 10% off any size order. That's getthetea.com, discount code USA for 10% off your order.
Okay, I'm talking funny because I'm in the witness protection program. I have too much credit card debt and I don't want people to find me.
Okay, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about credit card debt. Right, those plastic things that we all have in our wallet. Are you in your 50s or 60s and you're still carrying around a mound of credit card debt? Wouldn't it be nice to start banking that money and save a little money for retirement down the road? We help people restructure their credit card debt all the time. We show people how they can get out of credit card debt in months, not years. Listen, you'll be carrying around credit card debt for the rest of your life unless you deal with it right now. We offer a free consultation so you can learn how you can finally wipe out your credit card debt and start saving money. Give us a free call right now.
Call Debt Solutions Network now. 866-451-3328. 866-451-3328. That's 866-451-3328.
If you're a diabetic, we have great news. You can end the painful finger sticks with a new CGM. Plus, they may be covered by Medicare, Medicaid, or private insurance. If you test and inject daily, you may qualify. Call US Med now to learn more.
800-471-7065. 800-471-7065. 800-471-7065. That's 800-471-7065.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-362-9337. 800-362-9337. That's 800-362-9337.
Can't you see when I'm trying to tell you I love you? Why don't you marry me?
Why, marry you?
You take me and I'll take a vacation. I'll need a vacation if we're going to get married.
We are back at it again. Always appreciate the time that you're spending with us here on the air in the chat room. Texting and tweeting, being part of the conversation, part of the solution. And I really do appreciate the time that you're spending with us here on the air and in the chat room, truly. Because I know there's about 3,000 other shows out there you could be listening to, and you chose this one. And I very, very, very much appreciate it, more than you know. Let me bring him on. Brad Dacus joins me, as he does every week, to talk about how he's protecting your rights, protecting your parental rights, protecting your religious rights, your right to just, I mean, seriously, to live your life the way our founding fathers wanted. I mean, Brad, can you imagine if one of these guys came back to life for 10 minutes and looked at the tax structure and looked at what they were doing to religious freedoms and looked at what they were doing to parental rights? I mean, the guy would have a coronary, wouldn't he?
Yes. Yeah, he definitely would, and he would be, he would very, very surprised, very surprised.
Yeah, he'd probably be holding the Constitution and go, "I wrote this. Where do you find that in here?" So,
right.
You know, oh God. So I want to go back to some of the things that we've talked about in the past too, from a standpoint of, look, you've had all these things that we, because they're talking about what is the different states. We have the 17th state, Virginia, which now did that popular vote amendment to where all the delegates go to whatever these 17 states, whoever wins those states with the popular vote, all the delegates from all these 17 states go to that. It's really ridiculous. And we keep jerking around, and these Democrats mostly, they keep jerking us around on the Constitution, on the Bill of Rights, on the amendments. They don't seem to understand the erosion, and I think it started with, and I might be wrong, I just get your take on this, with the 17th Amendment. You know, the senators were never meant to be voted on. Senators were never meant to be voted on by the general populace. It was meant that the legislatures in the states would vote the two senators in. That way the senators would have to report back to the legislature to let them know that they're carrying the business of the state as a whole. And it could be easily replaced if they weren't. Right?
Correct. No, exactly. And it was to ensure that the state's interests were having a clear voice in the federal branch of government. A lot of states were really, concerned about that. And this was sort of an assurance that there'll be, this other perspective. Each state will have their perspective. People say, well, people vote, directly, and they live in those states. Well, the average person may not be really aware of all the interests of that state and the different statutes and the impacts, the same way that a state legislator would know. And so in really looking out for the interests of their state. So, I think it actually made a lot of sense. Of course, they made it, directly for people to vote directly. They're senators, and that's what we're dealing with now.
Yeah. Our founding fathers were very smart people. They really understood how man operated to a big degree. And when you think about some of the safeguards they put in place, the hardest thing I have to explain to people is why the Electoral College went in place and how it truly gave, pick a small, Rhode Island. It gave Rhode Island the same power to vote in a president that California and Texas have. Agreed?
You mean as far as Electoral College?
Yeah, the Electoral College goes.
Yeah, so they don't have as many votes in the Electoral College, of course, as Texas or California.
Right.
But their voice is heard. I think what's the most important thing, and I agree, but they have a louder voice than you would than they would if it was just simply popular vote.
Yeah.
So little states like Wyoming and all, they're not neglected. They're not just brushed aside as irrelevant. But also, this is really important, especially today. The Electoral College helps as an insurance against fraud. If it's just a popular vote,
Right.
then all you need is San Francisco to flood the ballot box with several million fraudulent votes, and they can completely twist the presidential and federal election. But the Electoral College says, okay, San Francisco, you do your fraud. You're only going to impact California. You can't totally fraudulate the outcome of the entire country. So it's a very really good safety measure to prevent just a complete fraud. And if that kind of fraud took over this popular vote, we would become very quickly, I think, a banana republic because of the instant enablement of corruption.
Well, Rick Green, who we both know, does a great analogy with the World Series, right? And he said one of the things that the Electoral College does is it makes sure that it's not a fluke election. And he said what I mean by that is if you think about it, in the World Series, you can score the most amount of runs, but you didn't win the most amount of games, okay? And, so you may have a really good night one night, but the second night enough. So it kind of evens it out to say, okay, through the whole election, through the whole process, this person did the best, or these people did the best. They won more states as opposed to simply winning more votes, because as you just said, the Electoral College, the delegates, the votes that they get, the electoral votes that they get. So he does a great thing, and I play it about once a month so people truly understand what that Electoral College means, because they still don't. And I blame the education system, by the way, for that. I don't blame anybody else but the education system for it. It's terrible.
Yeah, and also if you exactly, and also let's say you had the election and then between time you have the election on election day versus the time the Electoral College votes. Let's say there's something that happens that is unforeseen, and there's a need for the Electoral College to take action. I'm trying to think of a hypothetical historically. I don't think we've had one, but it's just then that go between that period of time, it acts as another safety measure, against the unexpected that could happen. Let's say the person gets elected. I'm going to get a hypo, and it's discovered that they're actually a spy for communist China, and this is just off the cuff, and their goal is to surrender America to communist China on the day he's sworn in. Well, Electoral College can intervene on that, and these kinds of things that could pop up but are not likely going to pop up.
Yeah, I know. I get what you're saying, and I think that we're getting so far away from the basics. We're getting so far away from the checkpoints, and Congress has spent overtime trying to figure out how to work around the checkpoints, around the Bill of Rights and this kind of stuff, to the point where look what they do with the president. Even in his day-to-day business, they're not allowing him to conduct day-to-day business. And I do think you heard that Boasberg was slapped down again, where the appellate court came back around and said, knock it off, right?
Yeah. I like to think that this is the final slap
on
the hand
that
is needed, because this guy is he's just crashing as a totally, a bozo of a judge, and I like to think that this would be the final slap needed, but he's got to have some concern about possibly being removed by Congress, and that can happen.
Well, yeah, but can it? It can technically, but with the Congress we have right now, do you really think he's going anywhere?
Yeah, you're right. We don't have the political spine, those in Congress. No. And that's another reason why Trump looks so strong, is because when you compare with other politicians on both sides of the aisle, you just don't see that degree of spine and decisiveness and conviction that has been displayed by President Donald Trump in very courageous ways. So I think you're right. I think you're probably right. We're probably not going to see that happen. But like I say, I just have a hard time seeing him continue after this final slap on the hand. It was a pretty tough slap.
I think, yeah, it is. It was. I mean, it was a wordy, nasty slap. But because these are the questions I get, for you all week, pretty much, and that is, the Supreme Court or the Justice Roberts, Chief Justice, he can't do anything about this, can he? Can he suspend the judge? Can he keep cases from going to him for a while?
Yeah, this is really uncharted territory.
Yeah.
It really is. If they're guilty of a crime, if they're no longer mentally incompetent, they can be removed. But for this kind of activity, and my understanding and my reading of history of the courts, and that's one thing I really enjoyed in law school, was combining history with the courts. I've just never read of something like this, where a justice has so much disrespect, really, for the office that he holds and the oath that he took. So, we'll have to wait and see.
All right. PJI.org, people. PJI.org. Pacific Justice Institute. Brad Dacus, God bless for what you're doing. And thanks so much for being with me. Always appreciate your time.
Thank you. Take care.
Yeah. Joe Basita, your host. Don't go far. A lot more coming up in the next hour.